sat down with former President Trump for a wide-ranging interview, telling me things that he has never told anyone in an interview before. Enjoy. Mr. President, first, I would like to say a belated congratulations for retiring Joe Biden, at least from the campaign.
So this is 24 hours prior. This is 24 hours plus prior.
And now the polls are coming out for his replacement after a whirlwind positive press for Kamala Harris. But the Real Clear Politics average shows you up at about 1.75%, 7% over her. But before the debate, Biden was 1.5 points behind. So you've actually slightly grown your lead on the national poll. So how do you keep Republicans positive and not buying into kind of the negative publicity that they're seeing?
I think she's a worse candidate than him. She's far more radical left. She is younger. I mean, she's 60 years old. A lot of people, I didn't realize she was 60. I thought she was a little younger, but she's 60.
Yeah, she's like 15 years younger than you.
Talking a big game.
She's a lot more years younger than this man.
But her game is pretty bad. I mean, she was the border czar. She's trying to pretend that she wasn't. You know, it's an amazing thing that's happened too, because we did a long time ago.
It's an evolution, Mr. President, that yes, she was more progressive in 2020, but that she's moved to the middle on a number of these issues, and they're making a concerted effort to show kind of a new Kamala 2.0.
In politics, when you start off saying something, that's where you are. And she was for defund the police. She was for open borders. She was for having anybody come in. Now I notice that they're actually saying they want to have immunity for everyone.
So look, Donald Trump says that, right? But in 2016, before he became president, the same year, he went into a black church in Detroit. It's out there. And he promised a new civil rights era for the black community in terms of reform, right? Bills being legislation, right? And then when he became president, finally, he didn't mention one more word about it. So, you do the math.
Everybody that came into the country, and they want to have citizenship.
She said that, and she said that she knows that she assumes Kamala Harris would support that. That means citizenship for 10 million, 15 million,
or
20 million?
Yeah, or 20 million.
What would that do to the country?
Destroy the country. It's already, it's in such bad shape. Our country has never been...
10 million, 15 million,
or
20 million?
Yeah, or 20 million.
What would that do to the country?
Destroy the country. It's already... want to have citizenship. They want to have open borders. She was for having anybody come in. Now I notice that they're actually saying they want to have immunity for everybody that came into the country. And they want to have...
Look, Donald Trump is never going to tell people what they want. What he's good at doing is misquoting what other people want. That's exactly what he's doing right now. But let's listen to him more.
Have citizenship.
She said that, and she said that she knows that she assumes Kamala Harris would support that. That means citizenship for 10 million, 15 million,
or
20 million?
Yeah, or 20 million.
What would that do to the country?
Destroy the country. It's already... it's in such bad shape. Our country has never been in a position like this, in addition to which we could end up in a third world war.
Because he says stuff like this all the time, that really inflames. Like you see how quickly he went to war? Let me see. Has Kamala Harris promised to make 15 million immigrants from South America citizens so they can vote? Hold on. Let me just say that. Keep it very simple. I'm not saying this works, but you have to double check everything that comes up through ChatGPT. But I'm quite sure that if there was anything close to that being mentioned, anything about immigrants becoming citizens connected with Kamala Harris, it's likely to have come up. So let's play it, see what it says.
There is no evidence to support the claim that Vice President Kamala Harris has promised to make 15 million immigrants from South America citizens. This assertion appears to be unfounded. Kamala Harris has been tasked with addressing the root causes of migration from Central America, focusing on issues such as economic insecurity, corruption, violence, and human rights abuses. 21 source.
PolitiFact, Washington Examiner.
Her efforts involve securing investments for economic development in the region, but there has been no official statement or policy proposal from her or the Biden administration indicating a promise to grant citizenship to 15 million immigrants from South America. 23 source. For further details on her immigration policies and actions, you can refer to reliable sources such as PolitiFact, the Washington Examiner, and Yahoo News.
How many immigrants to America from South America stand to become citizens because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris legislation? Look, he said a pathway to citizenship. A pathway is not the same thing as giving them citizenship, and this is why people have to always look for the actual answer here.
The Biden administration's immigration reform efforts, particularly through the proposed U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021, aim to provide a pathway to citizenship for approximately 11 million undocumented immigrants currently living in the United States. This comprehensive legislation includes provisions to benefit various groups such as Dreamers, Temporary Protected Status, TPS holders, and undocumented farm workers. 29 foreigner source, 31 source. While the legislation does not specifically target immigrants from South America alone, it encompasses a broad spectrum of undocumented individuals, including those from South America, who meet certain criteria. The pathway involves obtaining lawful prospective immigrant (LPI) status, which after several years can lead to a green card and ultimately citizenship, provided they meet specific requirements like passing background checks and paying any back taxes. 29 source. 30 source.
National Immigration Form,
Therefore,
the American
while there is no
Presidency
specific
Project.
number of South American immigrants who will be citizens due to this legislation, those from South America who are part of the broader undocumented population in the U.S. could benefit from these provisions if they qualify.
So, essentially, this is the same, thing for Central Americans coming through the border, Mexican border. The law is the same. Basically, what they're doing is totally twisting what the reality is to make people afraid, just go into a fever where they don't research anything themselves. They rely on word of mouth primarily through the internet, through small tidbits, the TikTok generation, where you can only comprehend and things a clear thought if it's 30 seconds or under. If it goes under 30 seconds, then they can't understand it. You see, it's really sad, but that's what's happened. But let's continue.
But we have 20 million people that have come into the country. I would say by now it's 20 is probably going over that number. We have another 4 months to go, but really it's another 5 months, 5.5 months to go. So that number is going to increase very substantially. They're pouring in and they're coming from prisons. They're coming from mental institutions, insane asylums. I always say that's a step above them.
It's not true, actually. There are a lot of people seeking asylum and trying to enter the United States. And of course, many are being detained and sent back. That's what the law says. And it's actually down from when, I even think since when Biden took office, it's even gone down. They've made some reforms. But the thing about it is, No one's saying that there's not a problem with immigration from any part of the world. The issue is not if there's a problem with immigration. The issue is how do you make the asylum part of it stand up to par with the expectations of the treaties that were signed by the U.S. And also, what are the laws going to be practically? Like, how is it going to affect immigrants from certain regions, right? Or what are the laws going to be? How harsh will they be? How harsh will the penalties be? And the thing about it is that when you're dealing with groups like Trump, he makes it harder for you to even have a conversation because he starts out with the most extreme uh, idea, which is not even the idea that's really going on that people can discuss. He just creates it
mental
himself.
institution, and we have record number of terrorists coming into our country, and only bad things are going to happen.
Where is the data? See, notice when Donald Trump is forced to produce data, this is why he won't debate, because in a debate he will be forced to bring data, and he will be confronted by the host by saying, actually, no. Now listen to this host. This is Fox News, so you know what they're going to say.
Nothing good is going to come out of it.
A big news today is President Biden announcing reforms to the Supreme Court, which include not allowing immunity for presidents and also new ethics rules. Now, a lot of us who used to clerk at the court believe that that's just a naked attempt.
Well, it's not true. First of all, because it has nothing to do with presidents not having immunity. Presidents will continue to have the same type of immunity that they had before the Supreme Court passed made some new standard or created a new precedent that everyone is supposed to follow now. But before, presidents had a large amount of immunity for official acts, without question. Acts that are official. Acts that follow that are according to the Constitution. You don't have the right to be a criminal. There's no way where that's stated in the Constitution that the president has that right. So why would you need immunity when you don't have the right to be a criminal in the first place? Immune to what? Criminality? You see, so this is like a complete farce what she's suggesting. But let's let it play.
To start knocking off for presidents and also new ethics rules. Now, a lot of us who used to clerk at the court believe that that's just a naked attempt to start knocking off conservative justices.
It is.
They didn't even consult Dick Durbin or the Senate Judiciary Committee on any aspect of this. What does this mean to you, what Biden is?
Well, it's a typical Biden con. He doesn't want to give up immunity because if he didn't have immunity, look at all the things he did. The $3.5 million from Russia, all the money he's taken in from China, all of the bad things and the evil things he's done, not to mention that.
This is a complete lie. They just made this whole thing up. Look.
It is.
They didn't even consult Dick Durbin or the Senate Judiciary Committee on any aspect of this. What does this mean to you, what Biden is?
Well, it's a typical Biden con. He doesn't want to give up immunity because if he didn't have immunity, look at all the things he did.
What are they talking about? He doesn't want to give up immunity. He's calling for it to be reversed. What the civil court did, that's what he's calling for. And he's adding that Supreme Court justices should not have immunity either. They want regulation. They want they don't want lifelong appointments to the Supreme Court either. They want 18 years maximum. They're talking about reform because of corruption.
The $3.5 million from Russia, all the money he's taken in from China, all of the bad things and the evil things he's done, not to mention that thousands of people killed in.
You hear this dude just making it up? He's just making it up. There's no, even in his administration, no one ever found anything in the Justice Department regarding Biden or Harris. Even in his own administration, he could have, and I'm sure he did, make every attempt to find out any type of dirt that he could on anyone using the government apparatus, using the Department of Justice, his appointees. I'm quite sure he would have loved to and probably tried for many, but he never unearthed anything that he's saying now. And the Department of Justice hasn't either. So
the
Where's he
border.
getting this from?
Look at the Afghanistan pullout with the worst, most embarrassing day in the history of our country.
Who arranged the pullout? Who is the one who designed how the pullout would go? Donald Trump is the president that designed that pullout. By design, it was designed to be a disaster because it was designed by Donald Trump. All Joe Biden could do was go along with it because a U.S. official prior to him made the agreement. If you don't go along with the agreement, once it's made, your only way to get out is to fight your way out. Don't you think the U.S. troops would have killed a lot of people if they had to fight their way out? So what's your choice? Kill a lot of people and stay, or just leave even though it's bad and at least you're out? So they made the best choice, but it was at Donald Trump's arrangement. It's his own arrangement. It was designed to be that way. If it's not, all you had to do was have certain prerequisites in the agreement that hinder that outcome from occurring. But it was by design, y'all. By
All
Trump.
of the things he's done that are so bad, he desperately wants immunity. There's no way he would write off immunity for a president.
But this is a really upending of our constitutional
Yeah,
structure.
he's doing that.
And
Okay.
comment.
You hear that? So now he's back in track. Now he doesn't know if he's going to do it, but he's like, there's no way he will do it. Yes, there is way, because the man just said so. The stuff's being put into writing. It's being passed around. He's asking Republicans about it. He's going across the line to ask Republicans to also sign a new bill. He's putting pressure. It's about to be public before the election day, homeboy. It's a wrap for you, Trump. It's a
criticism of you from the left is he's the chaos candidate. He's the chaos former
Just the
president.
opposite.
And so what does that do to separation of powers if the executive branch can come along and say, oh, no, even though we have constitutional provisions governing the court, that we're just going to do this, or this is what we stand for?
It's going nowhere. They need 75%, and it's going nowhere. He can't get it. He knows that, too. It's just, I think, look.
Is it a bone
They
to the left,
staged a
hard
coup
left?
against the president of the United States. They went in and they told him, you're leaving. You're way down in the polls, 17 points, I think. You know, it's like you're in a fight with somebody and you're really winning, and they take him out and they put somebody else in. Nobody ever heard of this
What's up,
before.
Donnie?
This is a coup. They took him. They said, even though you got 14 million votes, you're out. And he said, I'm not going out.
But you're saying that's what they're kind of doing with the court as well?
No, what they're doing is they're keeping.
What the hell is Donald Trump talking about? He's trying to flip the script and make it seem like it's Biden who committed a coup. It's Biden and Harris who committed the coup. Listen to this fool, man.
Said, nobody ever heard of this before. This is a coup. They took him. They said, even though you got 14 million votes, you're out. And he said, I'm not going out.
But you're saying that's what they're kind of doing with the court as well?
No, what they're doing is they're keeping. They
Listen
took
to
him.
her. She don't even know what the hell he's talking about. This is crazy. Look.
Nobody ever heard of this before.
She is trying to help this man through his bumbling, and he can barely get the words out of his damn mouth. Listen, and he don't know what he's talking about. He acts like he's the victim of a coup, and someone else tried to do a coup on him. Listen.
This is a thing, and they take him out 10 points, I think. You know, it's like you're in a fight with somebody, and you're really winning, and they take him out and they put somebody else in. Nobody ever heard of this before. This is a coup. They took him. They said, even though you got 14 million votes, you're out. And he said, I'm not going out.
But you're saying that's what they're kind of doing with the court as well?
No, what they're doing is they're keeping. They took him out. He was losing badly. They took him out. He wants something to say. He's sitting there with nothing to do, nobody to talk to. They threw him out. This was a coup, the first one, of the president of the United States.
But Harris endorsed this Supreme
They said
Court
you're leaving.
proposal. She endorsed this Supreme
Oh, yeah, she
Court
did.
proposal.
She's a
Look at this.
radical left.
Years, this is going
Look at
to.
this. This is crazy, yo. This is crazy. What? Why do I not hear this shit earlier? This is a day ago. This fool is literally there trying to say Kamala Harris committed a coup on Joe Biden. Joe Biden didn't want to go, and Kamala Harris was like, oh, no, you're going to go, man. This is a coup. And he's saying it was a coup because Joe Biden only had 14 million votes or something like that. And, you know, but he calls it a coup. It's not a coup. It's called organizing, fool. It's election time. The adults got to make decisions. This is crazy. He calls that a coup? No, it's called democracy, fool. Like, what is this dude talking about? He calls democracy in action a coup. No, what happened on January 6th was a coup attempt.
Some change, justice.
Well, they're also, the one thing you didn't say, they want to pack the court. What they really want to do more than any of it is pack the court. They want to put in, so I've heard as many as 27. They've gotten up to 27.
That's not in this proposal, but this is a response to their losing on a number of high-profile cases. I mean, not every case has gone your way or Republicans' ways. Did Republicans ever put forward a series of these types of radical proposals? I don't recall.
They haven't tended to, and we've been behind also. We've been behind in justices, and they don't do this. Actually, FDR did it a long time ago, which was interesting, but it hasn't really happened like this. It's never going to happen. I'll tell you, if I'm president, it doesn't happen. We keep it the way it is, and it's been working very well for a long period of time. I mean, basically, they want to
keep it the way it is. But it was just changed by the Supreme Court. Why would you want to keep it the way it is now? Why don't you want it to go back to what it was when presidents didn't have immunity? And now he's sitting out there also, just prior to this, 5 minutes ago, tried to say that it's Joe Biden that doesn't want to change it back. But he doesn't want it changed himself. Listen, even though there's no evidence that Joe Biden doesn't want to change it back, he's the one demanding a bill to change it back in the first place. Everybody knows this, but he's able to lie like this. Like, this is not normal for a person to just be able to spit out lie after lie after lie after lie. Like, it's true. This is narcissism.
create another Congress. They want to have so many people. Let's just go to another Congress.
I haven't seen you since the assassination attempt on your life. How are you feeling? How are you doing?
I feel good.
New information keeps coming out about how this could have occurred, including text messages among some of the local law enforcement, the SWAT teams that were in place. And most recently, we found out that a local SWAT team member actually spotted Crooks 90 minutes before that first shot went off. And they kept tracking him. They even saw him at one point, maybe 45 minutes before, with half hour before the shot was fired, with the rangefinder pointing it toward the roof. What's your reaction to this?
Look, I can tell you this. Once the bullets started coming at me, and I got very lucky, I have to attribute it to God, because if I didn't turn to the right, and there was no reason to turn to the right except I dropped a big sign on what a great job I'm doing on immigration, right? So the signs come down, and I go like this, and it went phew. If I didn't, I wouldn't be talking to you.
You shouldn't have been on that stage. You shouldn't have been allowed to get on that stage.
But I just want to say one thing about Secret Service. They were very brave, because they were coming, and bullets were flying over me because I went down. Bullets were.
Yeah, but Secret Service worked for the government. So the Secret Service worked for the government. So he's like, is it good? Is it bad? And you will hear he can't determine one from the other, because it's a great question to ask a person running for president. So he's going to weasel it. Look, watch.
And they were
allowed to.
If I didn't, I wouldn't be talking to you.
You shouldn't have been on that stage. You shouldn't have been allowed to get on that stage.
But I just want to say one thing about Secret Service. They were very brave, because they were coming, and bullets were flying over me because I went down. Bullets were flying, and they were on top of me. I had a lot of people on top of me, a lot of very big, strong people on top of me, I want to tell you. And they were very brave. I have to say that. Okay, with that.
Damn. Wow, blah, blah, blah. Yo, that was the government. Those are government workers. They don't get paid that much money. You know, they give their life to the Constitution, and you're lucky to even have them protecting you, you know. But don't you think it's really odd? All of a sudden, he changed his tune against government workers. Like, you know, I thought it was the government. Whatever happened to the deep state, Donald Trump? Don't the Secret Service work for the deep state? Aren't they a part of the deep state, Donald Trump? You see, it's like, what's up? What happened to the deep state, Donald Trump?
That being one, because they were coming, and bullets were flying over me because I went down. Bullets were flying, and they were on top of me. I wouldn't be talking to you.
You shouldn't have been on that stage. You shouldn't have been allowed to get on that stage.
But I just want to say one thing about Secret Service. They were very brave, because they were coming, and bullets were flying over me because I went down. Bullets.
Don't the Secret Service work for the the deep state, Donald Trump? Isn't that what you say?
And they were on top of me. I had a lot of people on top of me, a lot of very big, strong people on top of me, I want to tell you. And they were very brave. I have to say that. Okay, with that being said, should have been somebody on the roof. There should have been communication with the local police, which there wasn't. So that's a bad thing. And they were seeing this guy who was a very disturbed person, and they were seeing him around. I mean, it's like, how about the people, the Trump fans, the Trumpsters,
How about a good political question right about now, which would be, how do you feel about open and carry states? Because that's where that dude was walking around in an open and carry state where you could carry that kind of weapon openly and say hello to the police, and they can't do a damn thing about it. What about that? What do you think about that law, Donald Trump? Is that a good law regarding defending people's lives, especially when the president comes to town? Should people keep their guns at home, or should they bring them out?
Woman in the red shirt that was screaming, "He's got a gun. That guy's got a gun."
But this information, Mr. President, demonstrates via text messages in real time that they spotted this individual. The local SWAT team member spotted him. They lost track of him. They saw him again, but then we find out there was no pre-planning.
See, look, this is bothering him. This bothers him. He's like, damn, can you stop asking me this question? And she's doubling down and listen to how suddenly it's different. It's a different talk. He stands by them. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't. I find that really interesting.
Done, but lost time that
the Trumpsters, the woman in the red shirt that was screaming, "He's got a gun. That guy's got a gun."
But this information, Mr. President, demonstrates via text messages in real time that they spotted this individual. The local SWAT team member spotted him. They lost track of him. They saw him again, but then we find out there was no pre-planning done between the Secret Service and the local SWAT teams, which is common, which is customary, in addition to the drone flying ahead.
Actually, worse, there was no communication. So they didn't speak to each other. They actually didn't speak. That just came out. Look, it's a terrible thing. Should have been somebody up there. Now, the Secret Service shooter, the Secret Service sniper, it was amazing what he did. With one bullet, he took him out. And that was an amazing shot he made. I heard it was like an incredible shot, much further away.
But what about the part where they were defending you? He's very positive about these people. Don't you think that's peculiar? You would think he's hard, so much harder on so many other people for far less. Here, the Secret Service failed to protect this man's life over something so basic. And look at how apologetic, how accepting he is of that. All of a sudden.
It would have been good if it was 9 seconds sooner. You know, we lost one great person and two people were very badly hurt, and now they're doing okay, and we're in communication with them. They're doing pretty good. They're doing very good. I thought they were going to die. I thought both of them were going to die also.
But you agreed to an interview with the FBI as it's called a victim's interview in a situation.
They're coming in on Thursday to see me, and I thought I would. I'm so disappointed. You know, if you took a poll of the FBI, I'll bet I get 95%, but not at the top level, not at the people, the
Why do
political
people not trust the upper echelon of the FBI at this point?
Well, they've had a bad period of time. I mean, they raided Mar-a-Lago. That's not so good. And I guess we bring a suit. You know, we won that whole case, and we won it the right way. We won it because we won it. We won it in court. It was a big thing. Hardly got any publicity. All they did is talk about the documents. I was allowed the Presidential Records Act, but we won the case, and the press hardly reports it. Now, with Biden, he really was convicted of that case. He was let go of that case. And by the way, you're talking about many more, and he didn't have Presidential Records Act. Just one thing, Laura. They said he was incompetent, and therefore he can't stand trial, and yet he would have been allowed to be president. Think of that. So he sort of semi-won it. Of course, you don't want to have that kind of a victory. You win because you're incompetent. But he actually was guilty.
What was Melania's reaction, if you don't mind?
What the fuck does any of that mean? What he just said? That is.
I know this is very personal. When she learned about what happened on that field in Butler,
she was watching.
Oh, she was watching in real time?
She was watching live. It was all over the place. It was on television. It was on your network, but it was all over the place. And she was watching. I asked her that. I mean, I wasn't there. I was on the ground. And When the world started to, like, you could talk to people, I said, so what was you feeling? And she can't really even talk about it.
Traumatized.
Which is okay, because that means, like, you could, she was like,
Field in Butler.
she was watching.
It's very personal when she learned about what happened on that field in Butler.
She was watching.
Oh, she was watching in real
She
time?
was watching live. It was all over the place. It was on television. It was on your network, but it was all over the place. And she was watching. I asked her that. I mean, I wasn't there. I was on the ground. And when the world started to, like, you could talk to people, I said, so what was you feeling? And she can't really even talk about it.
Traumatized.
Which is okay, because that means she likes me.
No, she
Well, she
likes
loves
you.
me.
That's good.
I mean, let's say she could talk about it freely. That wouldn't be. I'm not so sure which is better. But
Does that sound believable to you? I mean, doesn't that sound like a lie? I'm just saying.
She either likes or loves me, and that's nice. But I will say this, look, she was, when I went down, she thought the worst had happened, because I went down. And I grabbed my hand, and I saw it was, my hand was loaded up with blood. You see it in slow motion, instant replay. You know, we had hundreds of press. The world started to, like, you could talk to people. I said, so what was you feeling? And she can't really even talk about it.
Traumatized.
Which is okay, because that means she likes me.
No, she
she
likes
loves
you.
me.
That's good.
I mean, let's say she could talk about it freely. That wouldn't be. I'm not so sure.
That's weird. That is weird.
Which is better. But she either likes or loves me, and that's nice. But I will say this, look, she was, when I went down, she thought the worst had happened, because I went down. And
Wishful thinking.
I grabbed my, and I saw it was, my hand was loaded up with blood. You see it in slow motion, instant replay. You know, we had hundreds of press there. So this was covered.
This guy, you could obviously see he's lying. Look at how he's just flipping from loosely through the conversation. Is he making any sense?
Live, they would have had instant replay and everything else, which they already do in this. But supposing the worst happened, you know, one man, Corey, was killed, hit
Compared
horribly,
amazing man,
horribly in the head. And, you know, to guard it, he was guarding his family.
That's why how important it is to get to the bottom of why this was allowed to occur. I mean, he died.
No, he died.
You almost died.
He died instantly. Instantly. He was dead immediately.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews.